Howdy, Heroes Hearth. This is Kyle Fergusson. Today, I'm sitting down with Albatoxx's Thrall. This is 30k Violet versus Wildheart Omega from Heroes Rising Contender Series Qualifier 2 Game 2. Welcome, Albatoxx.
Hello, Kyle. Thanks for having me here.
I'm very excited about playing Thrall. I love Thrall. I think he's awesome. He doesn't get to, well, solo lane. I guess you're not going to solo lane. It was a gamble. Actually, maybe it wasn't. Thrall doesn't solo lane, does he?
I feel like he's able to solo lane on these two maps like this. He doesn't have like the greatest wave clear, so picking him on BOE as an offlaner, of course, wouldn't be too bad. He's definitely a very niche pick, and you can't pick him everywhere you want. So luckily, we thought he would be best here in this draft. Actually,
he's such a force, though, and he really is one of the most joyous giant killers there is in the game in terms of just raw numbers of talents. So here in the 4-man, which is where we often see a Thrall, I'm assuming you're here to just empower and guard Hanzo?
Not exactly. We picked up Thrall as our 5th pick. I was honestly very unsure of what to pick here. But our tank Nagrom suggested that I play Thrall, and it looked pretty good here just because their team comp has very good blow-up potential between the ETC, Greymane, and Genji burst on top of like the follow-up Polymorph from Brightwing. So like any squishy backliner I may have can just like die in one shot, but Thrall is a very beefy guy once he hits certain levels. Once I hit certain levels, of course, as I die right there.
Perfect example. Okay, so is it kind of like how you might run an off-tank Uther? Kind of you're there by Hanzo, keeping that backline a little more safe so Diablo can be forward-focused?
Yeah, you want to pick another bruiser in the 4-man just to add a bit of beef to the front line. Thrall is definitely one of those people. It could have been like Sonya, or what's the other one we thought of? Maybe a Hogger, but I think Hogger was like banned here or something. But yeah, it definitely lets Hanzo be able to play a bit more freely, as I'm the one taking the damage most of the time instead of him.
He definitely brings that kind of wall factor to things with his root and just his body size, presence, and the poke. The poke is so joyous into things like Tracer and Genji as they try to get away.
Yeah.
Nice job using the Thrawler dollars there as well on the, on the mount side of things. So here, accompanying Hanzo, would any bruiser be kind of joining this job as the 4-main bruiser?
I think Thrall definitely has the most damage potential in the 4-man. Obviously, he's probably not the tankiest of all bruisers, but he provides enough damage to supplement Hanzo and Blaze. Blaze doesn't have too much damage, so if we picked one of the lower damage bruisers, we might just not have enough damage to kill people.
So in this regard, you're actually kind of taking the visible front line, where Diablo's being the sneaky engager.
Yeah, if I somehow live the power slides, then we're like in a really good position to like counter engage. Because if they blow it on someone else, they might just die easily. I guess we could talk about it right now. I picked the physical armor at 4, or the Feral Resilience, which allows me to build block stacks against the Genji, or Genji and Greymane, which helps me survive that initial burst of the power slide. Which, yeah, like I said, if I somehow survive the power slide and we counter engage, we win the fight every single time.
Interesting. Wait, so you're not necessarily then kind of holding off on Feral Spirit just to counter an ETC engage. It's almost a farm tactic for block stacks then. Exactly,
because all the block stacks stack together. So if you hit 2 heroes, you get 4 stacks. If you have 3, you get 6 stacks. And so even though they have like a Genji who's really good at getting rid of block stacks, if you charge those up before a fight, even after Genji gets rid of 3, Greymane still has to get rid of another 3. So it's really good at like building resistance, I guess.
Yeah, and since that just weathering the Genji's smaller auto attack still has more on the other side for that Greymane,
Yeah.
it's now a good pickup. And if the power slide goes off on you, it didn't go off on Hanzo, so that sort
Exactly.
of trade is going back and forth but working.
Mhm.
And here we're kind of seeing that aggression that can just go straight into Genji, even basically telling him to get out of there with the wolf. That's very cool. So at level 1, you picked up the Rolling Thunder. Is this for the giant killer quality, or is this for the extra bounce then?
It's a little bit of both. I would say I was considering between Rolling Thunder and Echo of Elements, which is the blue one that gives you another Q stack. I think Rolling Thunder is just better because it does have that every time you hit a hero that has been hit by it, you steal 3% of their maximum health, which is probably the bigger part, so it's another giant killer talent at 1. I knew going into ETC he's probably taking Block Party, so my autos aren't necessarily going to be doing the majority of the damage. All my percentage stuff is going to. So yeah.
Okay.
That also will help.
Yeah, that'll, of course, pierce the blocks, as it were, and put more pressure on the ETC, who's their primary engage, to make them sing over there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Ancestral Wrath here, and I'm assuming now is this why you kind of swapped off with Blaze here, because you're farming Ancestral Wrath in this lane?
It's more of we're both offlaners, so I can obviously offlane as well. He can offlane as well. If I need to pick up a wave, I'm a lot better than Hanzo doing it, because Hanzo can get 1v1 by the Genji or the Chen. So we're able to like switch off here and there when clearing lanes, because we're both relatively safe in doing it.
Are you?
Go ahead.
Are you farming Ancestral Wrath when it's not on? Like, are you just feral wolfing lanes and just doing anything you can to get that back online, or do you have more of a concern about your mana and the value exchange there?
You obviously can do that, but one thing with the Feral Resilience talent as well is that heroes actually stack it 4 times whenever it gets hit by W, which is a full stack of your passive.
Oh, wait. What? Mm-hmm. Feral Spirit
so every
grants?
time.
Yeah.
So every time you hit a hero with your W, you get 1 out of 8 stacks on the Ancestral Wrath.
The Feral Resistance is the armor part. Oh, so it's actually giving you full trade, the Frostwolf Resilience.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's interesting.
So hitting it on heroes actually stacks it faster because you gain 4 times as much passive stack.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I've seen Mana Tide just be the religion for so long. I don't even think I read it since then.
Yeah. Mana Tide is really good if you're going the blue Q, the one that gives you an extra stack. Because you do tend to run low on mana with that, because you're just spamming Q on cooldown.
Sure, but now you don't have to spend as much mana getting your Ancestral Wrath back in the first place, so... Very cool. Now, what's kind of... We have an even fight here. You guys take a little level lead here as the Greymane goes down, but what's your primary goal? Are you watching ETC like a hawk? Are you trying to hold on to cooldowns for something else?
I'm looking to follow up on Diablo mostly, because when he engages, I get a free W, because obviously the enemy's stunned and they can't move. And then I also have Wind Fury to catch up really fast with that like 30% movement speed. So I'm definitely able to run up and just attack them.
So kind
and then also, you're going to see me a lot of times run backwards and start peeling for the team, just because Chen and Genji are going to be on Malfurion and Hanzo constantly, and I could provide that damage support, that CC, whatever is needed.
Oh,
like right here.
Very cool.
I'm pretty much just like waiting for Diablo to engage. I took Sunder to follow up from afar, and then just start running up with my Wind Fury.
That was a very cool engagement with the Sundering to kind of lock Genji down. You knew exactly where he was going to end up at the back end of that cast, and still follow up with the Wolf.
Yeah.
But that sounds like it just takes practice, knowing how far Sunder's going to push.
Yeah. I think it always pushes the same distance. It's just whether or not they're pushed to the left or the right.
Was Sundering going to be your primary pick looking at this enemy matchup, or are you responding to something inside the match?
It was definitely a response, mostly for the ETC. We don't have too many cheap ways to stop Mosh Pit, kind of like right here. All we have is Emerald Dream, Apox, Sunder, and Hanzo's Dragon Arrow. And those are all ultimate abilities. And those are the only ways we can stop ETC Mosh Pit. So I kind of had to take Sunder.
That's fair. Yeah, Blaze couldn't go in. I guess Diablo can do the old backup trick, unless that's been removed for some reason. That max range charge. But definitely getting limited in those options. Level 13, you get Frostwolf Grace, cooldown 15 seconds, and you get to activate to heal. You also get to instantly heal. Increased by 100% of Thrall's missing health. Doesn't this give a full round of Frostwolf Resilience?
Exactly. So you'll just see me press D on cooldown out of lane, because yes, it does charge Ancestral Wrath at 7.
For no mana cost. So again, you don't have that mana tide. But you're getting all that source from other areas. Now you guys are just kind of swarming them.
So I just become extremely hard because I just have so much self-healing. If they don't kill me from 100 to 0, I have my level 7 to steal 15% max health. I have my 13 that heals me based on missing health, so it's even a better heal. My W, if it hits a hero, I heal from it. Level 1, steal 3% on every auto, so I just have an absurd amount of healing. So if they don't kill me, I really can't die.
Yeah. That's another factor of that Pharaoh resilience, is that you're getting that heal on top of everything. What a neat build that puts together. That's a lot less spammy, almost more tactical in its thought process. So as the game's developed here, has anything changed on the enemy side for you? Are you changing the way you engage? Are you more afraid of a certain character?
At this point, they are no longer targeting me. They're really looking at the Malfurion and the Hanzo right now. So my job is to really just keep the Chen and everybody off them and follow in on Diablo when I can. Like right here, I completely got zoned out of the fight, but like I still just don't die here.
Yeah.
I'm no longer the target, and I just can no longer go below health. And then Panda just makes a great play here.
No.
Totally intentional.
Oh no. But you did something really important there in that fight. You weren't able to access ETC or another target, so in sort of to survive the poke that was going on around you, you just wailed on the nearby mercenary camp, and that supplied you all the healing you needed. Look, and just your willingness to hold off on your buttons is really doing you some favors, particularly as that reactionary player here. You got Alpha Wolf now. For 3 seconds after a hero is hit by Feral Spirit, Thrall's biggest attacks deal an additional 3% of the target's maximum health as damage. Passive increase the duration of Feral Spirit's route to 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, so this one is just the best one with the build. Obviously, if I went for like a Q Mage Thrall build, I would have taken the quest talent, the Thunderstorm, because Thunderstorm's extremely good. But since I don't have those 2 stacks, I don't get too much value.
Is there any use for the quick match popular build with the full Tempest Fury, Grace of Air, Maelstrom weapon kind of business?
It's definitely fun. But very not optimal at all.
Fair. I believe it. Oh, wow. That's some good chunking.
Yeah, so the main thing is that, yeah, once you press W, immediately press Wind Fury, maybe weave in like a Rolling Thunder Q in there. Even with one auto, since the Wind Fury talent actually resets Thrall's auto timer, so you can get in a quick, actually 4 autos off. So technically this build does a lot of percent health damage. 15 from 7, 3 from 1, and then a total of 4 attacks of 3%, so that's actually 30% damage on top of all of your auto attacks. So you just have like a lot of consistent damage coming out from Thrall at this point.
You mentioned there a auto attack reset that was on Wind Fury?
Yes. So if you W with Alpha Wolf and then auto and then reset the attack timer with your Wind Fury ability, you can get 4 attacks off really quick instead of 3.
Oh, interesting. So that's a benefit for being already in melee range when activating Wind Fury.
And then that's also all of those auto attacks are doing another 3% from your 16 talent.
Right, because Wind Fury is a normal auto attack.
Yes.
In terms of counting. So, optimize, route them. You have a longer route to get what you need done in the first place. Walk up to them, as we kind of see you doing here. Be fully in contact, and then activate the Wind Fury.
Exactly.
I don't do that. I usually spend half my Wind Fury running around in circles, so fair. That's a great tip. Well, now you guys kind of have a 2-level lead. As bruisers go, that can be pretty immense.
Yeah.
So now it's just execution, follow-up, and, well, I guess a mosh pit, but since they didn't get you down and you're going to be sitting there on all your various spells.
Yeah, I do go down there just because they dogpiled on me, but ain't too sad. Our team is able to clap back a bit here. But they definitely wasted a lot on me, which is nothing wasted on our Hanzo. Perfectly fine with that trade.
So looking towards level 20 now, you got some new options.
Mm-hmm.
What are you thinking?
It's always the flash or the bolt of the storm.
The wind rush here.
Yes, yeah, the wind rush.
And gain Wind Fury. So is this another teleport for 4 autos?
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that you can Wind Fury on top of that Wind Fury, which means you're getting 6 autos off instead of 3 this time.
Wait, you don't mean stacking. You mean like you do a full Wind Fury and then do it again and do another full Wind Fury.
Yeah.
The Wind Fury does not combine with another Wind Fury to make a Wind Fury fight attacks.
So that's just a lot of surprise damage out of nowhere. It gives Thrall this newfound play potential. You can like flash W, root someone from afar. Just like that, completely blown up. And then right here, yeah, there's just a big old wild goose chase on the Genji at this point.
Sure, death timers are getting long. Gonna give you guys access to, I mean, without healer and without poke, Greymaine's not gonna be able to go in, so. Also kind of looks like fun in the background. Would you ever do World Breaker? It has other aspects to it, like lowering the cooldown, the impassable terrain.
The lower cooldown part's really nice. However, sometimes the extra terrain isn't the greatest. Obviously, you can like set up this flank and like cut off an escape for the enemy team, which can be like really good in some scenarios. But typically, sometimes if you're using like to follow up, it sometimes like harms your own team more than it helps it.
That bolt has some pretty decent range on it. You went full on over the wall there, it seemed.
Yeah, the flashes in this game are kind of insane.
So as a Thrall enthusiast, if you were to balance Thrall's 20s, you would perhaps get rid of the impassable terrain part of it.
Yeah. Maybe add something else. Maybe extend the stun duration or something. But the terrain is definitely unique, which is like what I like about Heroes of the Storm is that talents provide this like unique play style or like opportunities or niche cases. But yeah, I don't think it's that great. Very cool though.
There was an upgrade to Elemental Momentum. Have you ever played around with that?
It's just not that great. I mean, Thrall already has relatively low cooldowns and like a lot of damage already. If you auto someone that many times to lower your cooldowns, they're probably already dead at that point. So it's hard to get value from it compared to the other talents.
Does that thought process work as well for Nexus Blades? Like Thrall already has such great throughput in his role, he doesn't need the bonus 20%?
Yeah. At least at this point, at level 20, he doesn't need that extra 20%.
Or maybe earlier, and you know, depending on comp as well. But here, where you're basically there to empower the Hanzo and clog things up, not gonna aid you in your role.
Yeah, like right there, I was able to make a flash play. That's the one thing about 20 is that you can flash W and just kill people out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It allows you to just make plays, which is very hard for some DPSs to do, or heroes to do.
I mean, it's an amazing sales pitch for what you did here today. Knowing the range of the bolt is perhaps the hardest thing, getting all the way to 20 and then practicing that talent enough to know how to use it. But you made very good use of it. If you had gone, though, with Earthquake, would that be the upgrade, the Earthen Shields?
Most likely, yes.
Okay. Very cool. Well,
Earthen Shields is definitely very strong.
Is this beautiful build that you've showcased today the one you'd recommend new players start out with, or would you go more in that lightning mode for kind of a training wheels?
I would go for a more Q build. It's a lot safer. It's a lot more poke damage. It doesn't rely on you having like the most optimal positioning. This build is definitely situational. It's very much a giant killer build, a frontline build. If you can stay in there and stay alive, you're going to stay alive forever.
Awesome. Well, great showcase of it. Thank you for joining me. Hey, everyone here at Heroes Hearth, be sure to like, subscribe, ring that bell for more Learn to Play content for Heroes of the Storm, and of course, that upcoming CCL season. We'll see you soon.